Anupam Kher, active on social media, supports the BJP. There is Rahul Narvekar of the NCP with me here in the studio. Sohail Seth, active on Twitter. He's joining us from London. Mohandas Pai from Infosys. Meenakshi Lekhi and Sanjay Jha completing the panel this evening of the BJP and the Congress. Thank you very much. Many of our panelists I see are active on Twitter, at least most of them. Okay, so what's the big deal, Meenakshi Lekhi? The government says, what's the big deal? We were simply trying to archive something. What's the big deal here?
No, archive how? By not handing over that data? Because this particular data is the property of the country. This is a national asset. It belongs to the office of the Prime Minister. This is not Mr. Manmohan Singh in individual capacity. Now when Mr. Narendra Modi takes over as the Prime Minister, PMO India will belong to him, and simultaneously, if he chooses, he can run Narendra Modi simultaneously. Because these two are two different handles. The office of Obama, if is available on the net, it is always mentioning the fact that this is a personal tweet written by Obama himself, or this is done by his office, because these are things which are handled. If from an office, it is from an office. If a CM, anybody who's holding any government position, it has to be handed over to the next government in that right. And this is a question of who has the right over that intellectual property, and what is a proper handing over. The proper handing over is all official records go to the next team.
Why was this done, Sanjay Jha? Let's get the other side before. Why was this done? And by the way, in between, something very worrying happened. It was actually claimed by an outside person. I think I have the name here. An outside person, another individual actually picked up the handle. You realize how serious this is? Sanjay Jha, that person who claimed the handle, PMO India, could have, if he wanted, sent out any tweet from an official account. Is there no sense of responsibility left in the Manmohan Singh group? Are you so possessive about the PMO India handle that you're even willing to compromise national security by leaving it fenceless? Why was this done, Mr. Jha?
You know, Arnab, I'll just give you the latest update on it. I've spoken to Mr. Pankaj Pachauri, who was, part of the PMO office. And, let me tell you the facts as they are. Most importantly, we need to recognize this, that, social media is in a process of evolution. There has been no established protocol in terms of what will happen if there's a change in government with any particular Twitter handle.
Oh, please.
So that's one part of
it's a PMO India handle. It is not Manmohan Singh's handle. What is this argument?
Let me explain. Let me explain to you. Give me a minute.
So you realize the seriousness of the situation? Which world does this happen? The Twitter handle of the Prime Minister of India is picked up by a private citizen because of what you've done.
Let me explain to you. No, let me explain to you. There has been a very transparent handover of all the internet inventory, whether you call them digital assets or by any other terminology. That process is already on. Let me tell you right now that the PMO has in fact discussed that with the Twitter authorities itself.
So please, sure no, you are misrepresenting facts.
Will be with Mr.
You are misrepresenting facts.
Let me clarify to you.
Mr. Jha,
Mr. Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister will have full access to the PMO office. Listen, you are raising a sensitive issue. Let me explain that.
I'm telling you, Mr. Jha, the
followers, the 1.24 million followers,
Mr. Jha, you are now forcing me to reveal some facts.
The third point, the content is also going to be there.
You are forcing me to reveal some inside details.
Whatsoever. The content, the handle, the followers will all be there. There's going to be no change, a status quo.
Mr. Jha,
as far as the archives are concerned, they will also be archived to maintain the RTI regulations and to fulfill any query that comes from the public in the future.
First, let's get one thing straight. That Twitter handle is not the private property of Manmohan Singh or Pankaj Pachauri's digital media advisor, right? Mohandas Pai. It is the digital asset of the Prime Minister, elected Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of 1.25 billion people. And do you realize how serious it is, Mohandas Pai, that when that handle, which is the handle of the elected Prime Minister of India, the leader of 1.25 billion people, goes into the hands of a private citizen because of this unholy mess up? unholy mess up.
Yeah,
Mohandas Pai.
Arnab, it shows a lack. Arnab, it shows a lack of grace. It shows a lack of understanding, and maybe a deliberate intent to make sure that this is kept aside and not handed over. But I think to give the benefit of the doubt, I would say is a lack of grace and lack of understanding shouldn't have been done. And I think it compromised in the meantime between the handover and the new equipment coming to the office.
Truly.
Some kind of a security issue, because like you said, could have been taken over by somebody and you tweet anything that you want, because it's a very high security matter belonging to the Prime Minister's office, should have been handled with care.
Sir,
I think it's a very sad reflection on how the transition was done.
Sohail and Anupam Kher, please come into the debate. The question.
A secure transfer is already happening under the supervision
No,
of the Digital
Sanjay
Clarify
Jha.
that.
Sanjay
A secure
Jha.
transfer
Will this
is already
gentleman keep
under
quiet,
process.
whoever he is?
The PMO handle will be with the new government and the Prime Minister.
You are doing no favor, but you tried
With all
to
the
take it
followers
away.
and content
Why
and
did you do
Arnab
it?
intact.
Why did you've been voted out?
I don't think so.
You want to run
Please
away
do
with
not
the
doubt
Twitter
the
handle?
intent whatsoever. Arnab, please do not doubt the intent
I
whatsoever.
am not doubting the intent.
Not
You
at all.
went against
Absolutely.
Twitter
Please, let
India's
me tell you,
advice.
it's very transparent
Twitter India
and being done.
Please, the Twitter India and the Prime Minister's office were in contact since the first week of May when Mr. Pachauri approached them for PMO account transition. Twitter suggested to the PMO to archive their entire history of tweets till date by downloading it in a set format instead of changing the account. Mr. Pachauri refused to accept the suggestion and without informing Twitter or officially approaching them, changed the account from PMO India to PMO India Archive. Do you realize how serious this is? Technically, it should have been the decision of the new PMO to take a call. And how horrible is it, Mr. Sanjay Jha, that Twitter has to come in to resolve this dispute between the past government and the way it should be handled over? I mean, it's acutely embarrassing, Sohail said.
Arnab, two or three things. Whoever that gentleman is speaking, saying, oh, Narendra Modi will have access. Of course, for God's sake, he is the Prime Minister to be. So obviously he'll have access. You're lucky that they didn't ask Google to search for Manmohan Singh, given their proclivity towards seeking intervention from everyone else. I think it is absolutely stupidly handled, and I don't put it past behind the dolts who were part of the PMO at some stage or the other. I mean, these are process-driven issues. It doesn't take rocket science or an economist to decide where the Twitter handle resides. For the entire country to be seized, and I think you made an important point, Arnab, it's about that squatter who claimed that PMO handle. I mean, he could have created havoc. But then again, if he's part of the PMO, you wouldn't give him so much of intelligence to do even that. Having said that, I think it establishes three things. Mohandas Pai referred to one of them. Number one, we are ungraceful and insensitive about transitions in an orderly, precise, and process-driven manner. Number two, we do not believe that the institution is more important than the individual. The Prime Minister's office is far more significant and more important than any individual. Number three, we are a country which is huge on digital. The security issues linked to digital, including the havoc that digital can create. I mean, you remember a year and a half or 2 years ago, what happened with Northeastern children, with the children from the Northeast in Bangalore, all based on, SMSs and digital interventions. We need to be more sensitive. We are running this like a goddamn cowboy country, which I find appalling. And for then spokespeople from the ruling party or erstwhile ruling party to turn up and say that, no, we had done this, that's not important. Operation successful, patient dead. My worry, Mr. Jha, is not that you did it with any evil intent. No one is questioning that. I'm questioning the Keystone Cops mechanism with which the government has forced a transition to the next government. That, to my mind, is a telling example of how Prime Minister Manmohan Singh
they create a separate archive.
Didn't know what the goddamn arm was doing.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Mr. Anupam Kher. So here
There's no separate archive.
Mr. Jha.
I'm sorry. The Prime Minister's office, the PMO India was not sending out tweets which were linked to any historical or, literary pursuit. They were sending out information, and I think rather than archiving it in a manner of speaking, it's for the public to see. I mean, Pachauri was sending us more graphs than we've seen in geography.
Well, he could he could have been sending it. No,
is something that needs to be highlighted.
No, but how did this happen? You see, there has been today a serious breach in security. I know you want to come in, Rahul, here, but I'll go to Mr. Kher first, because the seriousness of the issue is indeed not something we can override. A gentleman called Kaisar Ali, I am told, claims the handle. So the PMO India handle is left empty. And one person says, I took the name away. One person says, PMO India was available, I took it. And at the end of the... No, please,
I'll
there has
step in here to correct you. I don't think the information you have at hand is correct. The Prime Minister's office has just given a clarification some time back, which I have also read on the internet, which says that the PMO India handle as well as the new archive handle that has been created is both in the possession of the Prime Minister's office.
Is in possession,
And therefore,
but it was taken. Now it is in possession.
Therefore, I don't think
now,
we should
no.
We should
Nobody
not
is misleading.
The viewers or the country.
Nobody is
And-
misleading.
and- and-
Nobody is
clarification
misleading.
means they were
The fact is, no, nobody is misleading. The fact is, it was taken away for a period of time. And
now, both the Twitter handles are in the possession of the Prime Minister's office.
You tell me if
Now-
the enemies of this country, had accessed the PMO India handle and sent out a series of irresponsible tweets, who would be sweeping that away?
Well, I'm sure this issue has been dealt with by the Prime Minister's
Dealt
office.
with?
There's nothing of the
Is
sort
this a
that has been
comedy
happened.
show?
We are making a mountain out of a mole. I'm sure the new regime, which is to come to power,
Anupam
realizes
Kher.
this. The Bharatiya Janata Party should focus their
Arnab,
attention on more serious
Arnab,
issues
there is
which they've taken up during their campaign.
This is a damn serious issue.
This is nothing but an unwanted controversy that is trying to be made out. So let's not ridicule the office of the Prime Minister. Let's not attribute malice to the office of the Prime Minister.
I find your attitude tonight most surprising, Mr. Anupam Kher, Mr. Rahul Nadvekar,
from
because you
Shiv
don't
Sena?
have a strand of logic in
from
your
Shiv
argument.
Sena?
The fact is, I asked what was the need to create a separate Twitter account that archives Manmohan Singh's PMO tweets, when obviously there will be no PMO tweets coming from that account? Anupam Kher is coming in, and I saw your hand
was
go
an
up there.
accidental
Meenakshi.
Twitter account.
Yes,
There is an
Anupam
answer
Kher
to
first.
that question.
Anupam Kher.
There is an answer to that
Arnab,
question.
I think there is a saying that you can't wake up a person who is pretending to sleep.
A nebulous gray area.
And that's how people like Sanjay Jha are, and they just want to sort of say, they just want to justify everything that is wrong. It's not possible. This is completely unprofessional thing to do, apart from the security reasons. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is also lack of grace. You at least in defeat one should show grace.
Absolutely.
Forget about everything else. And I would like to believe that Mr. Manmohan Singh and his PMO, the PMO earlier, had a lot of grace to do this. To do something, this is such a petty thing to do. You move out of this place, at least move out of with a certain amount of grace. We are having a discussion about something on which no person should defend their action. This is completely unacceptable, and it's silly, I think, for me to even comment on it. I thought that all the panelists on this channel today should be saying this is absolutely wrong. You cannot. It's like being PMO and then not leaving 7 race course, or not leaving things that are there.
Ridiculous example.
So, and forget about that, as you said very rightly,
Or
if
taking away
PMO
things.
India goes with somebody else...
Well,
and
I
he
wouldn't
says
have
it sends
expected
a
this kind of
panic
an
message.
example from a person of Mr. Anupam Kher's stature. I expect something better than this from him. Please understand, we are trying to ridicule the office, Prime Minister's office, for such a petty issue which has not been done deliberately. Maybe there was an error, but that does not mean
Because
that we
it's a
ridicule
petty
the
thing
office.
to happen.
Are you trying to attribute malice to the Prime Minister's office based on this? If that's the case, you level charges. You tell me what has been done. Has he siphoned off any data? Has he deleted any data? No charges leveled against him. We are just aimlessly making allegations, saying things which cannot be proved.
No, 1 second.
It's not a question of allegation, it's a matter of common sense.
What
It's a
common sense
simple
are you talking
thing
about? What has he done?
Common-
1 minute.
Common sense.
What has he done?
Why will
He
the
has
co- why will they
archived
do
the
something
data
like
which was
that? Okay,
available
why is it
on
done?
that account.
You go against
Explain to me,
Twitter's
please,
advice.
Why is it done?
Why exactly? Why is
Okay,
1 minute?
okay,
Let me make one
I
point.
will-
No, 1 second, Rahul Narvek. You tell me one thing. The 1.4 million people follow the PMO India handle, right? Right?
Yeah.
You tell me today, why should you basically what you're saying?
Mr.
What,
Arnab
basically,
Goswami,
1 second,
those
please. Please allow me.
1.2
Why should those
1.24 million people haven't disappeared? That data is still available on the new account that has been created.
No, you admit it. You admit
It's
it.
not that the data has been deleted.
No,
Why don't you understand that?
You admit it.
Congress have two spokespeople on the channel tonight.
No, 1 second. Yeah, no, there is Rahul Narvekar of the NCP previously with the Shiv Sena. He's now with the NCP. He's also batting on behalf of the Congress party.
That's
in
what I
this
was
case.
wondering.
Yeah. So anyway, point is, I have a simple point. I'm going to Meenakshi Lekhi.
I think Rahul's point is, are we ridiculing the office of the Prime Minister? The answer is no. We are ridiculing the process of transition for which some heads should roll. That is what we are ridiculing. And we are not even ridiculing. Rahul Narvekar, we are suggesting the damage that could have happened. The fact that it hasn't happened is, can't be given credit for to Manmohan Singh.
No, 1 minute.
The point we are making very simply is, a transition needs to be graceful, it needs to be measured, and it needs to be process-driven. There's no point defending it.
No,
we all need to accept that, yes, a human error was made and move on.
It can happen if Mr. Sanjay Jha says sorry tonight.
All the internet inventory, all the digital assets will be with the PMO's office.
That he won't.
It's already done. In fact, I don't know if you are having this discussion. I'm glad it's highly animated, but the truth is the handle, the content, the followers, everything is in place.
Sanjay, 1 minute. I think it's a very sad thing which you are saying right now.
But I just want to
no, it's a very sad thing which you are saying right now. It's a very sad and sorry statement you are making, Sanjay, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, I think it's a sad and sorry statement which speaks of a great amount of partisan prejudice.
Motives where there are none.
It's a partisan.
I object to the fact that somebody said there is something to hide. There is nothing to hide. What is there to hide at all? It would still be, even assuming there was an archive site, it would still be there.
Mr. Jha, now Meenakshi Lekhi will respond to you. No, 1 minute. Just a minute. Just a minute, Mr. Jha. I actually thought today that you would be demure in your response because of the 3 critical, horrible mistakes which have been made. 1.4 million followers of the PMO India have been shifted to some PMO archive and then been told, if you want to contact Narendra Modi, start all over again. Well, those people, Mr. Jha, for your information, are following the Prime Minister of India. They are not following an individual. Second point, this asset, PMO India, represents the views of the PM of this country. And thirdly, can you imagine that the Twitter account, which is a fast social media outreach of the Prime Minister of 1.25 billion people, was left empty and taken away by somebody in between, which is a terrible security breach? What if that individual had said 3 or 4 extremely dangerous and provocative things, for example, vis-a-vis Pakistan? Don't tell me it wouldn't have happened. It is a ridiculous situation which happened in a state of panic. Meenakshi Lekhi responding now to you. Mr. Jha, let Meenakshi Lekhi come in. No, let Meenakshi Lekhi come in. After that, you can come back.
I think Pankaj's viewpoint was that there was a change in government. So if you put the older one under archives, there would be nothing really serious wrong.
Who is Pankaj Pachori in this?
It was of a previous government. That's all.
Mr. Jha, here Meenakshi Lekhi.
Sanjay, listen, who is Pankaj Pachori? We are not talking about individuals. Pankaj Pachori was in the media office of the Prime Minister. We are not talking about him alone. We are talking about a measured transition which should have happened. And for God's sake, please don't defend a colossal error. The fact that nothing damaging occurred out of the error is something that we should thank our stars for. But let's not carry out a meek defense just because we are supposed to represent a particular point of view.
Agreed.
As simple as that.
No, agreed. Meenakshi Lekhi.
Everybody's, See, first thing is, it is illegal, unethical, apart from being disgraceful. That's a separate part of the story. But I have a very simple question. The tweets of the Prime Minister, what is so special that they should archive it and make them not available and tell the new PMO to create the account and get the followers? And completely in a new format. Now, whatever has been written from the office
it is mandatory to have these tweets archived. This is information which is required statutorily to be archived.
To complete?
I thought you would know.
No, one
Of
second.
course
No,
it is
no, no.
required.
One
It is
second. It will
statutory
be archived, but for no media advisor of the
And
Prime
it
Minister
should
can run
have
away
been-
with it a few days before retiring. Please, don't be
No
ridiculous.
one is running away
With the
with it. Why are you
password, he
misleading
cannot.
people?
He cannot run away
It has
with the
been
password
archived
even.
and
Just a
it's
minute.
available.
Then why are you changing the name? What's the big deal? Why are you changing the
It's
name?
a handing
available
over
means
process.
what?
It may not be the
Can I
best
tell you?
process, but there is no malice cannot be
actually the
attributed to
strategy
it.
has fallen flat. The strategy has fallen flat on them. That's a separate story. But they have done a most disgraceful act. We can't shy away from speaking this language for the simple reason. What was required to be done is handing over of the password in an envelope.
Exactly.
You are the new PM or this is the new PMO. Kindly manage this account your way. Up till this is it. And if there was any worry on account of certain deletions or some sort of management which could go against the PMO in creating the history or distorting it, they should have kept a copy. Simple as that. Why has this
Or you
not
could
been
have
done?
said the Prime Minister is
maybe
not in
if
office
you go in
for
detail,
the
there
next
is some
10
more
years or something.
something linked somewhere which we are not aware of.
Come on,
This
for
is-
God's
No, one
sake, we need
second.
to
I
get
don't
over this
understand.
system.
No, no,
this
no, no, one
habit.
second.
Something may be
File
somewhere.
and removing the
If you think
papers.
there's something wrong, pinpoint
the
with that.
RTI Act.
One second. One second. This is to Meenakshi Lekhi. Please from
No, how would I know? I haven't even
If you
got
don't
the
know, then
access.
don't make such
I don't even
allegations.
have the access. I
You're
don't
making
understand
allegations
the logic.
against the PMO, one of
It is an
the
illogical act.
most important
Arnab.
office in this country.
Can I?
I mean, the
Rahul.
Bharatiya
That's right.
Janata Party
Rahul.
seems
And how
to
has
have
that
got into
office
this
been
habit
conducting?
of making
let me-
How has
unfounded
office been
allegations.
conducting its business? It's apparent.
baseless assumption is something which you all have mastered.
Done by the officers who are employed in the
Arnab.
PMO. What does it show? Incompetent or biased?
Absolutely not.
or
They have their reasoning for
Let's
it,
discover
and I'm
that.
sure they'll come out with a clarification.
think-
If
I
you
don't
have a
think
problem
they're
with it,
enough
if
to
you
be
want to
biased.
attribute malice to it,
Not
you please
convincing.
pinpoint what is the problem. Don't make such bold statements.
I am saying I will attribute
Can I
the
tell you?
reason only when I
Can
have
I?
access to the record. Now I have no access to the record to form my opinion. But
There
this
is a
an
statement
illogical
on
act.
record from the Prime
And
Minister's
that
office. Each and
this is an
every
illogical act,
record
explanation
data
I
available
was
on that
conducted
handle
business in
has
this
been
fashion.
archived. That's a statement on record.
Stated very categorically that the records will be
Arnab.
available. With
No,
the
no, Sanjay.
handle. Also, it
Okay.
will be archived separately
No,
for
no.
the purpose of
Yeah,
RTI.
in the long term,
You know,
we are
in
all
fact, we're
dead. Yeah,
having
don't keep
double copy of the
pontificating.
records available.
No, no.
One is live on the
Mr.
PMO
Jha.
handle, one will be on the
Mr.
RTI.
Jha, now, you know, both of you-
Satisfying any RTI query.
No, no,
that
Mr.
comes
Jha,
up.
Mr.
I
Jha,
think it's a very logically
Mr.
correct
Jha, it is
step. There's nothing
completely,
wrong with
you are
that.
being completely 100% illogical today. I'm sorry to say this to you. I will ask you two questions which will expose how illogical you are being today. Don't mind it. I'll have to expose how illogical you are being tonight. First to you and second to Rahul Narvekar, then the others can
Go
come.
ahead, Arnab. Go.
Point number one. The fact of the matter is Barack Obama has a, 1 minute, hear me.
Response. You ask your question, leave the answer to us.
Yeah, so I'm asking you the question, why are you in such trepidation and nervousness even before I ask the question? The question is this. The fact of the matter is Barack Obama has a separate Twitter handle called @BarackObama from the White House account, which is called @White House. David Cameron has a separate Twitter handle @David_Cameron, different from that of UK Prime Minister, which is @10GOV. Why does Manmohan Singh? Why did Manmohan Singh use the PMO India official Twitter handle to advertise his party's allegiances? Why did he do that? I can ask you the question. Isn't it totally
Good
improper?
question.
Isn't it totally
Good
improper
question.
to be using the PMO
But
India
Manmohan Singh
handle?
also had a lot of parody accounts.
Isn't it improper to do that? You should keep it strictly
I'm
official,
sorry,
then you cannot
Arnab,
personalize.
I think you have
cannot
completely
personalize
missed
the
point.
Twitter
I'm
account
surprised.
of the PMO.
I'm surprised you are making such a grave allegation.
You can check it out.
Arnab Goswami, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you are making a very grave allegation
You can check it
against
out.
the PMO as it stands today by
Mr.
saying that it was being misused by the PMO.
I am
think that's
saying it was
absolutely wrong.
personalized.
I condemn that.
Oh, you
If
can
read
condemn
the
it. It was
PMO's
personalized.
tweets,
That's a fact.
The PMO's tweets only 1 minute. It only
Are you the
posted
United Nations
personalized.
Secretary
Yeah, why
General?
are you being
What
so
is the
touchy about
difference?
it?
it only posted events as they were. You can't call that a promotional marketing venture.
I'll
if the
tell
government had a certain milestone,
you can take your protest
It was
elsewhere.
always put up from officially verified sources.
Well, you can
and by
check
the way,
out.
it's a verified account
you
for
can
that
check
very
out.
reason.
You can
Every
check out.
data that
Mr.
was put up there is credible, is beyond negotiation,
Mr. Jha.
is beyond any accusation. And I can tell you something,
Mr.
Arnab,
Jha.
I think you should take back that statement because that's a very, very grave
Mr.
and a serious allegation. I don't
Mr.
think that's
Jha, I
appropriate.
want Mr. Jha. Let me tell you, I want
Arnab,
you
he's
to
asking
take
you
back
to
your
apologize
statement
on the news,
because 1 minute. Because I think for all this expression of dramatized and well-rehearsed outrage coming in from Mr. Jha, the fact of the matter is that you have to be completely short-sighted to not only allot a separate handle for Prime Minister for Manmohan Singh from PMO, but also put the name of the PM as the display name.
Correct.
Instead of following the standard protocol of other countries, which is simply used White House or UK Prime Minister. The display name should have been PMO India or 7RCR. There would have been no controversy today. What was the display name? The display name was Dr. Manmohan Singh.
But no one knew who it was.
Why?
Arnab, I'm not aware.
Now you say you're not aware.
Twitter
So take
handle
what you
names
said
were
back.
available or not. You see, there are a lot of other issues that you have to factor in. For heaven's sake, respect the
Please.
fact
Okay,
that
let's open up.
if the Twitter handle has a certain name, let me tell you, many people
Anupam
own
Kher,
original
Mohandas
names of
Pai, you are all on
celebrities
Twitter,
and
I'm not. Can you just
politicians
explain
and
this
even
to
government
Sanjay
websites.
Jha?
These
What's
happen
Anupam
all the
Kher is
time.
coming in.
You have to
Anupam
live
Kher.
with an available name that is there in the
Available name, what is
Arnab.
this? Anupam Kher, please.
Yeah, two things. One is that I want to know actually why is it done?
PMO.
Because I have not yet got a very logical answer to why it's done. The other thing is, if they said that you start the PMO account all over again, then is it possible for Mr. Narendra Modi to have 4.1 million followers become the PMO of account of this? Is it possible? Now that he's the Prime Minister, let's shift all the followers of 4.1 million of Mr. Narendra Modi. That becomes it's not possible. So why should they start from scratch?
Start from scratch. Why? Because obviously some
Why
media
should they start from
advisor.
scratch? And the other
I
thing
want
is,
to come in.
Mr. Sanjay
What
Jha should
Anupam has
tell
said.
us
Arnab,
why was it done?
Arnab,
Yes, Sohail.
Arnab, please understand the import of what Anupam has just said. 1 minute. Understand what Anupam has said, the import. When there are official Twitter accounts like PMO India, forget the 1.4 million followers in generic terms. You have foreign correspondents, you have global editors, you have channel heads, you have policy groups all following them because they are seeking a perspective from the Prime Minister's office of the country in discussion. So it has greater import than you and I can imagine. It's not about being on Twitter and sending out tweets. Number one. Number two, what Anupam has said is, and I said that in my opening remarks, the import of what has happened reflects very poorly on our managerial skills, on our skills of not just grace, and no one is attributing any unethicality. I think one thing you can say about Manmohan Singh, silent he may have been, but he was certainly not evil in any which manner. There's no question about that. I think the whole transition shows India in very poor light. I think this is a wake-up call and a lesson to be learned by future governments that when transitions happen, you've got to take into account every bit of communication channel and make sure that it works seamlessly rather than in suspended animation, for a couple of days. That's the moot point. I would urge Narendra Modi to continue his personal Twitter handle, and the Prime Minister's office, as you suggested, should say Prime Minister of India. Because, 7RCR and all, most people don't know. Racecourse Road is not exactly the White House. So, most people don't know that. So that's what I would suggest as a strategy. Let Narendra Modi keep his tweets because he can then give the party line there, and let the PMO India be the official Twitter handle for describing, discussing and engaging on the policies related to the Prime Minister's office and therefore India.
No, but why was it done? Anupam Kher persists. Why was it done?
Oh, I don't know.
I really
that ask
genuinely want to
Pachauri.
know.
Why was it done?
I genuinely want to know why was it done. Then we will have a clarification on that. I do not know why is it done.
Well, Meenakshi Lekhi asks, was there anything to hide? And then immediately Rahul Narvekar flies off the handle. But why should it not be a legitimate question to ask? No, 1 second. You can raise your hand there. I saw Meenakshi Lekhi's hand also go up.
On the lighter side.
Yes, Meenakshi. On the lighter side. We rarely get that from Ms. Lekhi.
I'm reminded of the time.
Yes.
I'm reminded of the earlier president's time as a president of India, and Ms. Pratibha Patil took away all the carpets and things from the president's estate. Now, imagine the asset is the asset of the nation, and as per the national asset and various declarations, if as a head of the state you even get a necklace.
She also
and
tried to
things
take
which is
Rashtrapati Bhavan, but it
available
didn't fit.
emergency, etc. So those things were kept by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and which was shocking because all
That
these
was
things
very
which
much
you
on a lighter
receive
note.
are not your personal properties.
Well, you know, I agree with you. I think what happened here, Mohandas
No, but
Pai.
listen, I think
Mohandas
Pratibha Patil
Pai.
did a great job. No, I think we should be fair to the former president. She did a great job.
Come on,
she left
Sohail, don't do
Rashtrapati
that
Bhavan
famous
behind for
balancing
Pranab
act now.
Mukherjee. We must salute her.
That's all right, Sohail. Don't do the famous balancing
Well, I
act.
don't
of
think
yours.
I would be able
sarcastic,
to
for God's
appreciate. I don't think I would be able to appreciate the
I've
humor
read
of Ms.
12
Lekhi
statements
because
about
I don't
Pratibha
think this
Patil
is
ji.
how we should speak on national television about the president of our country. I mean,
No, what is
especially
it?
when these
Shame.
facts are
How should
unfounded.
they
Former.
conduct their
Former.
business?
Will
People like you and I
Ms.
don't.
Lekhi be able to give an
I
inventory
think
of the
this is a lesson
possessions
how
that
others should
the
not
former
conduct
president had,
themselves.
which were her personal possessions, and what were government possessions. So, Ms. Lekhi, I don't think this is fair to this nation that we speak about a former head of state like this. So let's adhere to certain protocols, let's adhere to certain decorum, and I'm sure that better sense will prevail, and next time such statements won't be made on national television.
This is why I love. This is why I love India.
To ridicule
Where we've started, where we've
people of
ended.
repute who held very prestigious offices, I think is a monumental shame. And I completely condemn that. And this is a party that expects grace from other people. I mean, that's the most graceless statement I've heard from any spokesperson for a very, very long time. I mean, you're ridiculing your own former president. You're making allegations.
I'm only reminding you as to how these offices have been disgraced
Getting the PMO
and run by
Mr.
Congress
Modi's
people.
government will have the content, will have the followers, will have the archives. And I said at my beginning, Arnab, I think you chose to ignore that. If there was an
Thank you
established
very much
protocol
for the
on which
kindness
everybody
shown.
knew what was to be done,
What protocol?
probably this situation
What
would not
protocol?
have arisen.
What
But please
protocol,
give the
Sanjay
benefit
Jha?
of doubt to the PMO.
What was the
It's
protocol?
not
Go
just
for him.
it's not
What
just
was the
Dr.
protocol,
Manmohan Singh.
Sanjay Jha?
I think his
Just
entire
a minute.
office is
I don't
not
understand this. I just don't understand this.
dignity.
Mr. Jha, hold your, Mr. Jha, 1 minute.
You know, handing over the
No, 1 second. 1 second. Mr. Jha, on the one hand, the Congress-led UPA government has made no changes to the Facebook page held under their tenure, but they chose to do so with respect to the Twitter account. Is the step being taken in fear of being attacked by the NDA government for its failures if mentioned? Well, the fact of the matter is Barack Obama has a separate Twitter account. Second, third is you personalized your Twitter account by displaying the name PMO India. Then you gone ahead and created a PMO India archive. Is the long-term solution that all PMOs should come under this archived under this handle, or have you not thought about that? In the intervening period, an unknown person takes over the PMO India handle.
Arnab.
It appears to me, Mr. Jha, let me complete. It appears to me, Mr. Jha, that somebody in the PMO thinks we work so hard to get 1.4 million followers. Let us take that away with us. Even though the Congress party is down to 43
Yeah,
or 44
take the followers
seats,
away.
we still have 1.4 million Twitter followers. You see, Mr. Jha, this is not Congress party property.
Well, let me answer you very
the
quickly,
1.4 million followers on
Arnab,
Twitter were
if you
following the
if
Prime
you come
Minister
on
of
Twitter
India.
tomorrow, I want to pay you a compliment, Mr. Goswami. I want to pay you a compliment.
I don't need
Forget
one.
the Prime Minister. Mr. Modi is definitely very popular in social media. We all understand that. No, I don't know whether you need it or not, but I need to tell you. If you come on Twitter, you might get 1 million followers within a couple of days. It's nothing unusual.
What an irrelevant
I'm making
comparison.
only one point. The PMO India handle is not a personalized handle. I also want to make a second point. All the content and everything that has been there
It's a
is
ridiculous
government information.
comparison.
It was not used for any party propaganda.
No, but
I think that allegation that you made
was
grossly unfair.
No, 1 second.
And
What
point
those,
number
no, no, 1
three,
second.
and I repeat that point again.
Mohandas
if
Pai,
there is a
Mohandas
procedure
Pai,
and process,
I see
I
tonight.
can tell you that in the future,
Arnab,
what is
you
this
will not
Mohandas
have this
Pai,
grey
please?
area. You will not have this confusion.
It is so.
Please do not make such a big hullabaloo
You
about
have had
it.
the
I
biggest
think the matter
security
is already
breach today.
resolved, even as we have this very
I'm so sorry, but
excitable, animated
I have great
discussion.
regard for Manmohan Singh. He has done a lot and he has
Why are
not
we
done a
making-
lot more. But that does not mean that those 1.4 million followers are his bhakts. If Pankaj Pachauri has told Manmohan Singh that these are your followers,
Arnab, you're making
then he's misled the Prime Minister.
You're making it sound as though Manmohan Singh and the PMO has kidnapped all these 1.4 million.
He has taken them away. Well, of course.
Subscribers or followers. That is ridiculous. The data is still available. The same people can still follow the new Prime Minister.
Why was
nothing wrong?
Mehta?
1 second, Mohandas Pai.
Making it sound as though they physically kidnapped these people.
Mohandas Pai.
A PMO will automatically
Arnab, as a citizen,
this has got nothing to do with BJP and Congress. Everybody has an interest in their own
Arnab,
government.
Here Mohandas Pai.
Absolutely hunky-dory, don't worry about it.
Arnab, as a citizen who followed the PMO's handle and who got bumped off as a citizen, I am owed an apology by whoever did it. I think this matter should end with an apology given to all citizens.
Yeah, hear that.
Due to this mishap that has happened, due to sheer incompetence.
But who will apologize? We asked Pankaj, media advisor, to stop.
Apologize.
Mohan, you don't have to do that because the
for
followers
everything.
will remain with PMO India. That's not changing.
The followers go to PMO India archive. What are you going on about? The followers go to PMO India archive.
Yes.
And then
Arnab, you have not got your facts right. I'm repeating it again for your benefit. The followers will remain with the new PMO India that's going to take charge. Nothing is changing.
Yeah, but under
It's status quo.
something called PMO India archive. Why did you do that? I mean, why are you in this terrible situation, Sanjay? I really don't like, tormenting you with questions, honestly. But tonight even you know.
But I have already answered you. I don't know why you're going on and on with the same question. I have already answered you. The PMO possibly thought there's a change in
Mohandas Pai, we have 3 minutes
so
left.
from a cut-off date of the 20th of May, they will archive the current PMO's data onto the archive.
The Congress
Party
archived the Prime Minister.
It is now through a secure,
1 minute.
Through a secure process. Twitter is ensuring that the transition is going to be absolutely smooth. So there's going to be no change whatsoever. Only an archive.
But why did you try to run away? Why did you try to run away with what is a national digital asset? 2 minutes on the debate. Anupam Kher, yes, please.
Arnab,
2 minutes left.
Since we are talking on a lighter note,
yeah.
If Mr. Jha agreed with you, none of your debates will go more than 5 minutes.
Well, Mr. Jha has 2 minutes.
He has to.
I want to say one thing.
Mr. Jha has
on a serious
minutes of what the changes were.
Mr. Jha, you're putting on a straight face.
But clearly a lot of panelists here are just sitting here to make comments.
On a very lighter note,
the reality
and
just cackle away on their seats. But that's not really the truth.
Or not, Mr. Jha, Sohail says from London.
Okay. We don't. When we need pontification, Mr. Jha, we'll go to the Vatican. I just want to end on a very light note, saying that poor Manmohan Singh was archived way before his Twitter handle was. Have a splendid night.
Well, I think that's I don't know if there's an equal response from Sanjay Jha to that. Sanjay Jha, you have 30 seconds more to voluntarily apologize.
I just say, listen, Arnab, for the record, I think as a party, we ignore impertinent, trivial and pedestrian statements. They deserve to be condemned and ignored. I have the pleasure to let you know that on your channel.
Well, there is a message which I'd like to read out, which I've just received.
Everything is not a comedy show, Well, everything is not about scoring personal brownie points. Everything is not about trying to be the one who was the last word. It's important who was the last laugh. Remember that.
Well, can I tell you one thing, Arnab? I'm tired of being told by spokespeople.
Please don't reduce, Arnab, please don't reduce this discussion on a matter of a very sensitive nature. Please don't allow people
should have just apologized to make this into a big, I condemn it. We're not talking about the United Nations here.
You are not doing a service, Arnab, to this country at all. You are doing a disservice to the viewers of NewsHour by allowing people to come here and laugh and ridicule the Indian Prime Minister, the PMO's office, and
I'll toss it to Anupam Kher. I toss it to Anupam Kher. This is a serious subject. I tell you, no, 1 second. 1 second, Sanjay Jha. I toss it to Anupam Kher. This is a serious subject. What has happened is very serious. I've just got a message which says, I was following my Prime Minister office, not Dr. MMS. I feel cheated. That's how people are responding. Anupam Kher.
I think the best thing is for, instead of Sanjay Jha or anybody else arguing it, the best thing is to say, sorry, we made a mistake. We will change that. I think that's what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
Because that's what is ethical to do in this case. PMO India, unless they had changed it into PMO Congress India Archives. It is not that. They have made it PMO India Archives. It's as simple as that. How can they do that?
We see, I saw a hand go up. The London link is gone. Meenakshi Lekhi wanted to say something to Sanjay Jha. There are two of her on the screen.
Sarcasm, sardonic statements. I must admit that this has been one of the most brazenly graceless discussions that I have ever been part of with you on news.
Well, I can tell you, Mr. Jha.
I think you've allowed this discussion
Mr. Jha,
to degenerate into something extremely personal and highly, in my objectionable language, has been used.
Mr. Jha, you know, I'll tell you something.
I've been on a lot of programs with you.
I'll tell you, Mr. Jha.
You've allowed this program.
Mr. Jha,
Mr.
Jha, I'll tell you something.
He has no defense.
No. I'll tell you.
Arnab, when Mr. Jha has no defense, one second, Arnab. When Mr. Jha has no defense, he plays a martyr, and he does it very badly.
Well,
I said when Mr. Jha has no defense, he plays a martyr, and he plays it very badly.
Well, you know something. I'll only say one thing to you, Mr. Jha, and I'll go to Meenakshi Lekhi after that and wrap it up quickly. The fact is, Mr. Jha, we are being very light-hearted about it today, honestly, because what has happened today, what has been done, is dead serious. What has happened was graceless, avoidable. You know that, and possibly a compromise of national security. So I think we are being very light-hearted about it today because we don't want to make a big deal of it. Meenakshi Lekhi wants to respond to you. Meenakshi Lekhi.
See, honest, I just gave my bit on the lighter note. Now let me give a serious, give him some pontified advice on a serious note. And that serious note is very simple. You cannot do this with the national asset. You have no business. The office of Prime Minister is not your personal property. You better understand the difference between personal assets and national assets. And if you don't understand, you have been mishandling the governance structure completely.
Okay,
who has disgraced and who has not, you better know that the people who have disgraced the chairs of the President and Prime Minister should know exactly how to handle all this.
We have 1 minute left. Sanjay Jha, I see your hand go up.
The entire national assets are being honored and the highest traditions of transparency are being adhered to.
Okay.
I think we need to recognize that reality as we end your conversation.
Okay, we will end the conversation with that message that Anupam Kher wants to read out. Mr. Kher.
It says that Pachauri told that adjust archives by downloading tweets in PDF format. Pachauri told Twitter that he can handle press if controversy erupts.
Well, I think Mr. Pachauri should explain things now. I must put on record, I requested the media advisor to the Prime Minister to come on the News Hour on several occasions. He has so far not agreed to come. I even gave the media advisor of the Prime Minister, I'm placing this on record, the option of coming on a one-on-one conversation because I felt the need is there for him to explain what he did. He did not respond to that, and we hope that he will very soon. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the debate on the Handlegate War.